Hello, and welcome to Powerful Places Podcasts. I'm your host, Gary White, and today we will hear an interview that Ellen had with psychologist and author Frederick Wiedemann about a new psychological technique he's developed called the Flash Shift. This interview was recorded on November 17th, 2013, in our apartment in Girona, Catalonia, Spain.
I'm Ellen Aviva, and today it's my pleasure to be talking with Dr. Frederick Wiedemann, a psychologist, who has developed this marvelous technique of flash shifting.
Yes.
And I am so eager to hear about your background and how you developed this process, and to share this with our listeners who can't help but benefit from this.
Thank you.
Okay.
So just briefly about me, because that's just a small part of the story, but I have a PhD in clinical psychology in my late 20s, and so as a 65-year-old now, I've been at the whole psycho-spiritual enterprise game, if you will, for over 40 years, and worked with hundreds, maybe even thousands of clients and workshops and private practice. And I've seen over and over again, as we delve into the psychology and also want to be connected spiritually, that there's a way to do that I think is kind of fun and easy and simple, which I'm calling the flash shift. And I wanted to develop that for over a series of years.
And now it's reached fruition.
It has.
And you're starting to spread the word, and you have a book coming out?
I have a website called flashshift.com,
okay,
and a book coming out, and I'm now teaching it in workshops and to private clients, and have spent a little time, you and I with
Yes, and Gary.
So that was fun.
And we will put on this podcast at the end contact information and on our website, on our blog, so you can get hold of Frederick and perhaps first-hand experience, if not the book.
That would be great.
This is just really exciting. We just had a brief teaching with Frederick about this, and who knew? Simple, profound,
Right.
flash shift.
Well, I like to call it, it took a long time to even come up with the right terminology, and I'm not sure flash shift really does it, but it's close, because it's the capacity of all of us to shift in a flash. So that's the flash shift, and what are we shifting from and to in that shift? And I talked about how we're shifting from a very tunnel visioned, lost in our task, buried in our computer. We don't even really aware of our bodies, at those times when we're kind of lost in our doing, and being able to come out of that and shift to a larger consciousness, a more expanded awareness of all that we are and all that we're connected to. In a flash, we've done that intuitively. And there's magical moments when we're in nature and suddenly we get it. We get the bigness and beauty and immensity of everything. And so this is leveraging that into something we can do every day when we want throughout the day. And it's really fun and simple and quick and powerful.
It was. it didn't take 10 years of sitting at a Zen retreat or, in a retreat in the mountains. It was quite interesting.
Yes.
Just that,
Exactly. That kind of almost like waking up and breaking out of a trance that we can be in as human beings, and kind of lost in the details and minutiae of our world and our errand and our to-do list, and kind of in some sense burdened and kind of in our ego and striving, and all of a sudden to go, wait a minute, and kind of almost look up, almost like you're on a trail and you're looking down at the twigs, and where's the trail, and you look up, and all of a sudden you see the vastness of the landscape around you. You're up on a mountain, you go, whoa, the panorama. So there's that sense of zooming out
To where? How
You
far
know,
do
you
we
know, I
zoom?
think that's the
Yeah?
fascinating thing. It's like, how far can we zoom out? I mean, all the way to spirit itself, the source, the very evolution of the universe, and as it's molding and changing and evolving, and what's holding that? What kind of spiritual or fantastical process is holding that? You know, and being able to actually feel that, because so much of what I'm wanting in the flash shift is for people not to just be up in their heads like, oh yes, there is spirit, or oh yes, there is unity, consciousness, but like, oh, you know, I can feel it for a moment and get that hit of it.
Which we did, Gary and I. It was really fascinating because it was an instant shift from, well, I wasn't even thinking it in my head about transcendence, but you know, if I had been, it would have been thinking. But it was really embodied just through some simple breathing and some simple gestures.
Exactly.
And it embodied this shift to something, if not totally transcendent, at least more quiet and more peaceful and somehow less attached to manifestation, to that end of the spectrum.
And that driving, pushing, needing, and yet, like you said, being in the body, using the breath, so it's not just a mental shift, and being able to combine, if you will, the best of both worlds, sort of the best of our world of form and matter and body, and weaving in, layering in that world of transcendence and magic and fantastic, you know, beauty and love that we exist in, and bringing those two together in this intersection in like now, and not needing anything more really. We don't have to make anything out. We don't have to hold on to it. We don't have to, you know, we can go back to our task because we can come back later and feel that again. And so there's a source of fulfillment and grace that comes with being able to do the flash shift, which is like again and again, and oh yet again, and oh yeah, later, and they can do it at 6 p.m. and oh, before bed, and it's just like it's always there.
Have you found a cumulative effect from doing it?
I have.
So you go deeper,
Yes,
faster.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. It's so. I've been doing this for a number of years now, regularly. I'm going to say on a, just to give it a number, from 5 to 20 times a day. Okay, and I noticed that as I'm doing that over time, it's conditioning my nervous system and my consciousness to be more in a place of joy and more in a place of peace. And less, my psychology and my typology was to always be driven. And I was in that tunnel vision so much of the time when I was restless and longing and needing something else, and nothing was, and so this has been a really healing antidote for me and for anyone who feels that kind of restlessness, that it's not good enough, needs something else, where's the next, and that seeking, and you and I have talked before about that powerful shift from seeking to being a practitioner, and Terry Patton and others have talked about that shift of like, we're no longer seeking. And what an amazing thing to no longer be seeking and to realize that right here and right now. I mean, we've heard that again and again, that cliche of it's right here, it's right now, but to be able to experience that again and again throughout the day, little moments here. It's just nice. It's so good.
Well, it's beautiful. And I want to thank you for this gift that you're giving to the world.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And thank you.
Thank you.